Deputy John Brady. Apologies.
Thanks, Ms Corla. Minister, in December 2016, Sinn Féin brought forward the Pension Equality and Fairness motion, calling on the Government to restore the pension bands and rates to their pre-September 2012 position. It was the very first motion that I brought forward to the House, since it was such a serious issue, and I felt the need to do that. However, our friends here on my left in Fianna Fáil refused to support that motion, and here we are with crocodile tears here this evening. 10 months later, however, we have a motion from the very same party, Fianna Fáil, this time calling for the exact same thing that they refused to support last year. Minister, earlier you said in every complex system there are winners and losers, and in this system there is an anomaly that disadvantages a very small number of people relative to the large number of pensioners that we have. This is about fairness, it is about equality for our older people. It is not good enough to say that there are winners and losers, and sure, it is only a small number of people. Minister, we are talking about in excess of 35,000 pensioners. We are talking about people who went out to work and paid their contributions. Why should they be blatantly discriminated against? While it is unfortunate that Fianna Fáil did not see fit to support our motion on this issue last December, Sinn Féin welcomes this motion here this evening, albeit late in the day. The issue could have been dealt with 10 months ago, and it is very, very unfortunate that it wasn't. We will be putting forward an amendment to this motion to include another cohort of people who have also been unfairly treated by government. In 2014, Fine Gael and Labour abolished the state transition pension, leaving those who are forced to retire at 65 by contract forced onto a job seekers payment. And we know that there are more 65-year-olds in receipt of job seekers payments than any other age group in the entire state. These people also worked and paid into their pension and now cannot access it. And this is totally unfair, and it also needs to be addressed. The longer these issues are allowed to go on, the more expensive they become to rectify, because more and more people will be and are being impacted. It is not impossible to address these issues if the government will is there to do so. Sinn Féin were able to do it in our alternative budget. Our measures are fully costed by the Department of Finance and Public Expenditure, 84 million to restore the state transition pension and 70 million to restore the pension bands and rates to their 2012 position. However, here we are this evening, and it has to be said that this motion is little more than a PR stunt by Fianna Fáil, nothing more and nothing less than that. Fianna Fáil has had ample opportunity to address these anomalies, and time and time again they have chosen not to. The reversal of the 2012 changes is nowhere to be found in Fianna Fáil's so-called budget proposals, either this year or last year. And the reversal of the 2012 changes is nowhere to be found in Fianna Fáil's confidence and supply agreement with yourselves in Fine Gael. The cost of the reversal of the 2012 changes is nowhere also to be found in Fianna Fáil's general election manifesto either. No costings whatsoever. A small little byline, no costings. Fianna Fáil did not even see fit to raise the reversal of the 2012 changes with the Taoiseach, or indeed Minister Doherty, during Budget 2018 deliberations, despite their protest to the contrary now. Mentioning the issue somewhere along the line, certainly, and it appears in conversation with the Taoiseach that happened, somewhere along the line, it states It clearly shows what Fianna Fáil think of this in terms of their priorities.
Deputies, you will have
this is little more than a political stunt by Fianna Fáil, who only chose to highlight this issue now after it was brought to the media's attention last week. The Fine Gael amendment talks about a total contributions approach. This will have no impact whatsoever on existing state pension recipients. And I read with interest in an Irish Times article today when it says the change would only apply for new entrants to the workforce from 2020. So I think the Minister needs to explain that, because if it is the case that only new entrants into the workforce from 2020, that also will have serious implications, and the Minister needs to explain that. Their amendment, Fine Gael's amendment, will do nothing for the 35,000 older people on reduced pensions because of the changes implemented by Fine Gael and Labour in 2012, rammed through the Dáil. And it has to be said, they were rammed through the Dáil here with no debate. Any debate was guillotined, both in the chamber here at second stage and at committee and at report stage. And there was absolute knowledge, it has to be said, of the implications and ramifications, particularly and mainly on female members of the state hitting retirement age. This motion is not only opportunistic, it has to be said, by Fianna Fáil, but it also shows the real contempt for older people who are being punished disgracefully. However, having said that, we put forward a motion last year. As I said, Fianna Fáil refused to support it. However, we have an amendment to the motion here this evening. Hopefully that amendment will be passed, and we will do anything we can and everything we can to end the discrimination that is in place here, if that means supporting the Fianna Fáil motion. The question then has to be asked as to, if this motion is passed, what exactly will Fianna Fáil do? Will they sit on their hands again and do nothing, like they've done so many times, or will they enact and hold government to account to ensure that the changes are brought in straight away, that the discrimination for our older citizens is ended with immediate effect? Deputy.